I'm Janelle Selden-Holtmeyer, Associate Editor of Modern Distribution Management, and today I'm talking with Julia Klein, Chairwoman and CEO of Specialty Building Products Distributor CH Briggs in Reading, Pennsylvania. Hi Julia, how are you today?
Hey Janelle, just great, thanks.
In general, how's business been this year? Are there any bright spots?
Well, I'm not sure that I would say bright spots, but we do say green shoots of potential growth. We're happy to be a survivor serving the construction industry. I think the green shoots in the past year have been decent commercial growth in the area of eds, meds, and beds. Those are the places where we still have some continued growth, and also some nice growth in our new southern markets. I think we're seeing some really good stabilization in the residential remodel and multifamily industries, and that's certainly shoring up the residential side of our business.
What's the general outlook for 2013?
I think 2013 will give us a continued rebound in the residential markets throughout our geography, from the Mid-Atlantic to the Southeast. That's off a very low base, but it continues to be encouraging. And we've added new lines in all of our product categories. On the commercial side, I see stabilization, certainly not the growth we had previously in military and government, especially in healthcare.
Being in Pennsylvania, how were you impacted by Superstorm Sandy?
Superstorm Sandy was just a mess. We were out of power for 8 entire days. We ran on 2 big generators here at our headquarters location in eastern Pennsylvania and really struggled. We have customers who were underwater. We made some offers of warehouse space in our other locations to some of our friendly competitors who were underwater. It took a long time to get through it and get back. The storm absolutely made us rethink our risk management and disaster plans. We thought we were in pretty good shape. We have a backup plan to run our phones and our computers, but not for 8 entire days. My sense is that we need to start planning around storms getting worse, more frequent, and more long-lasting. And that it has less to do with our industry or our Briggs business and more to do with the infrastructure, just the grid can't keep up. It's my judgment that we've had years of underinvestment, and businesses like ours now have to figure out how to make up the slack. What we will do for next time is, first of all, we will assume the worst. We'll assume that our power outages will be longer and wider. That causes us to do a lot of things differently. We were able to have a generator run our servers pretty quickly, and we have a lot in the cloud these days anyway. But we also had most of our coworkers out of power as well. So even though email was down for a while, we went to social media, Salesforce.com, Chatter, Twitter, Facebook. That all kept us in touch. But at some point, we couldn't even get enough adapters for people to run their iPads from their cars because retailers were out of adapters. And we hadn't thought all the way through all of that, because we really only ever expected to be out of power for 48 hours. So 8 days really puts a whole different lens on these kinds of problems. One lesson from Superstorm Sandy is to really understand what level of risk and business downturn you're willing to accept and plan for. The magnitude, the severity, and the size of the storm went well beyond what most mid-sized companies could really invest for and really think about. From a pure IT point of view, Sandy makes a powerful case for a cloud-based infrastructure, voice, data, and potentially even transactional. And I believe that mobility can be a real game changer in this kind of environment. And those are the kinds of investments that we're going to plan for and the kinds of technology work we're going to be doing to get ready for the next superstorm.
So are you getting close to back to normal now?
We're a bit soggy, but we recovered quickly. We had planned for, the kinds of experiences we've had in the past. And I think this shows us that the past really isn't very relevant. We have to get ready for much worse. So we will.
You've been a big proponent of using technology to better your business. Where do you see technology for distribution heading right now?
Well, I continue to believe that a distribution company like Briggs is really a tech company in old school clothes. Technology really underpins everything we do. We had huge innovation this past year at Briggs with Enforce Everywhere and with the Briggs apps that we've designed that connect the back office and the field all of our information, everyone in the business in real time. All of that innovation supports customer segmentation. It will enable us to be much more efficient in how we go to market. And if I look over the next couple of years, I think the technology challenges in the distribution industry are really to erase the gap between ERP and what I would call personal technology. And that's really hard to get your mind around, I think, because ERPs are multi-million-dollar, many-user kinds of investments, and personal tech is something that you just have in your pocket. As those lines blur, I think we get much more efficient, but we need to rethink everything from security to process and information flow to really changing our minds about what our capital budgets look like. I think there's some very interesting challenges in technology over the next couple of years, and it's moving so fast. The challenge is not to stay ahead of the curve, but work really hard just to be on the curve.
What keeps you awake at night? In other words, what are the 3 things that managers and executives should be keeping front of mind right now?
Normally I'd answer the question, what keeps me awake at night, by saying, I have a teenage son, so that's what keeps me awake at night. But when I think about business, there are a lot of things that are of grave concern to me still. First is just the general confidence in the overall economy, the deep underlying confidence in the overall long-term strength of the now global economy. That segues right into my concern about the speed of the housing recovery. Speed's not even the right word. There's hardly been any housing recovery in the last 5 years. We know the policy prescription that could help, but as a country we haven't done them, or perhaps we can't do them. Perhaps we can't afford them. But figuring out how that new home construction rebound is going to happen and when, and how that lines up with the household formation and pent-up demand for new construction, how all that comes together and how we're going to finance it, that's the central question to anybody that serves the construction industry. 2 other things. I really have a question about whether our vendors can keep up. Sometimes it's hard to get a very agile mid-market company like Briggs to gear up and really move fast. I think that's something that we do well, and many folks our size do really well in the distribution industry. But it seems almost impossible for some large vendors to be as agile and move as quickly in a world that's going at just warp speed. I've said before, we lead from the middle of the supply chain, and we need vendors to be moving right along with us. And then finally, I've heard this comment about the economy, that it's a VUCA economy, V-U-C-A. It's very volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, and it's ambiguous. I think that was true when the market crashed, and it's true today. I think it's a real challenge to lead in that VUCA kind of world. And I've come to believe, and our leadership team has come to believe, that that's just the world we're in. The teams that learn fastest and try to get that more right more of the time are the teams that win. But I don't see that being any less volatile or any less uncertain anytime too soon.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Janelle. Take care.